Welcome back to Press Review. Let's start by taking a look at today's front pages in the Middle East. Starting from Beirut, the Daily Star leads reporting that Lebanon's MP Walid Jumblat is holding talks with the Marada movement leader Souleymane Frangieh as part of the Progressive Socialist Party's chief's efforts to break the political deadlock over the presidential election. The paper also reports that Lebanon inched closer over the weekend towards a controversial deal that would extend parliament's term and resolve a long-simmering crisis over the salaries of public sector employees. The Egypt Independent leads reporting that the Cairo Criminal Court today is to resume the trial of 131 Muslim Brotherhood figures, including toppled President Mohamed Morsi and elements of Hamas, Hezbollah, as well as other groups over breaking into Egyptian prisons during the 25th of January 2011 revolution. The paper also reports that spokesperson and Secretary General of the 30th of June Fact-Finding Committee, Omar Marwan, said the final report will be submitted to the President on the 21st of September after a 3-month extension expires. And from the UAE, the Gulf News reports that Iraqi Kurdish Peshmerga forces, backed by US airstrikes yesterday, retook the country's largest dam from militants who seized it the previous week. The paper also reports that 2 Kuwaiti parliament members have demanded that the passport of any Kuwaiti who tarnishes the country's image and reputation abroad should be revoked. And from Iran, the Tehran Times reports that President Hassan Rouhani has said that Iran is serious in its nuclear talks with the P5+1 and also its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency based on its nuclear rights. The paper also reports that 1 person was shot and critically wounded and 7 arrested early on Sunday as police in Ferguson in US, the state of Missouri, clashed with protesters when a curfew was imposed following days of unrest over a black teenager being shot dead by a white police officer. And now let's take a look at the top Middle East news from papers in the UK. The Independent leads Middle East news reporting that the world's most pierced man, who has more than 453 piercings on his body and face, has been deported from Dubai over what he claims are fears from airport staff he could be practicing black magic. The paper says the 53-year-old Rolf Buchholz, who arrived in Dubai airport at the weekend, had travelled to the Emirate in order to appear at the Cirque Le Soir nightclub, but he was stopped before exiting customs after he had been allowed through immigration. The Guardian leads Middle East news reporting that heavily armed gunmen stole thousands of pounds in an attack on a convoy of diplomatic vehicles belonging to a Saudi prince in the north of Paris yesterday evening. The paper adds that they stole £200,000 sterling and what was described as sensitive documents belonging to the Saudi embassy before hijacking one of the vehicles, a Mercedes people carrier, and taking its 3 occupants hostage. The Telegraph leads reporting that British Prime Minister David Cameron has vowed Britain will not be involved in another war in Iraq. The paper says the Prime Minister said that the British government would not put boots on the ground, but warned that terrorist trained by the Islamic State will cause mayhem on our own streets if the political and extremism crisis in Iraq is not dealt with. And now let's have a look at top Middle East news in international papers. The International New York Times reports that Iraqi officials said that Kurdish and Iraqi forces had succeeded in retaking the Mosul dam from fighters from the ISIS, although it was unclear whether they had seized control of the entire dam and the surrounding complex. The paper says as of midday, no photographs or videos had been released showing the security forces inside the dam, and the Kurdish military was preventing journalists from approaching the area and keeping residents from returning to their homes in villages nearby. And finally, from China, the Global Times reports that Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with US Congressman Darrell Issa in Cairo yesterday, where they discussed regional developments and security issues, including regional terrorist threats. The paper adds that the congressman said that the United States has already allocated $500 million in assistance to Egypt, and that $1 billion will be allocated for the next fiscal year. That was it. For more updates, visit our website levant.tv. Thanks for watching and bye for now.